Welcome, everybody. Meeting will come to order. As chairman of the select board, due to the COVID-19 coronavirus crisis in accordance with Governor Sununu's emergency order number 12 pursuant to the executive order 2020-04, this board is meeting electronically utilizing the Zoom platform. We previously gave notice to the public of how to access this meeting using Zoom, and instructions are provided on the Town of Lee's website at leenh.org. If anybody has a problem with access, please call 603-659-5414. Please note that all votes that are taken during the meeting shall be done by roll call vote. Let's start the meeting by taking a roll call attendance. When each member states their presence, also please state whether there's anyone in the room with you during this meeting, which is required under the right to know law. Mr. Bugby.
I'm here and alone.
Mr. Brown.
I'm here and I'm alone.
Mr. LaCourse, I am here and I am alone. First order of business, Aaron Contino. Donate life flags. Aaron, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hi there. I'm Erin, and I'm a Donate Life America volunteer. I volunteer with New England Donor Services. And for the month of April, which is National Organ Donation Awareness Month, we're requesting to hang some flags at already established flagpoles in town. So like the town hall, police and/or fire station, library, etc. And the flags would be free of charge, courtesy of New England Donor Services.
Town Administrator, how many flagpoles do we have?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that I can count right off the top of my head.
Mm-hmm. And Aaron, how long did you say the flags would be up?
It's totally up to you guys. If you want to just have them up for a day or a week, that's great. April is the whole month is celebrated. So if you wanted to leave them up for the month, that would be great too.
Select board comments?
Well, right at the moment, I don't remember how many that we have, but some of them have the POW MIA flags on them. So I don't think there's a third position. I don't know if Julie would know if there's a third position or not, but.
Yeah, I don't know whether we would be able to put a third flag under or whether we'd have to take down for the duration the MIA flags.
I don't personally mind, but I would want to contact the local veterans groups just to let them know we'd just be doing this for a short period of time.
Yeah, I think we'd have to talk to the VFW, but I got to tell you, I'm not in favor of taking down the MIA flag in the American. The MIA flag is the one.
Well, if we move in that direction, the MIA flag would just be down for the period of time when these other flags are up, and then the MIA flag would be put back. Is that okay, Kerry?
Yeah.
Okay. I agree. I think we should allow them to move forward to put the flags up for the month of April. And at the end of April, they should come down and any MIA flag should be put back in their original place. Do we have agreement with the board at this point?
Yes, as long as we contact the veterans groups, just to let them know.
Absolutely. I'll leave that for the town administrator to make that contact.
Yep.
You okay with that, Kerry?
Yes, it's fine.
All right. Thank you very much, Aaron.
Guys.
Next thing, is Todd Allen there?
Yes, I am.
All right, Todd, you have the floor with respect to REACH program. Welcome.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate you guys giving me a few minutes tonight. I promise not to take too much of your time. But I'm here with a simple request. That is to use the field, the town field next to the Mastaway School this summer for some summer enrichment programming. Just to kind of give you a little context of why this summer, this is a new request. historically, we've run our REACH program out of the middle school, and the middle school is a construction site this year, and so there is no outdoor space. One of the things that we, due to the pandemic, we're going to try to run most of our programming outdoors because that's where it's the safest, following all of the various COVID protocols and so forth with masking and social distancing. And so we need space really to run the program. Historically, if we run REACH, and it's the level of program we've had in the past, we typically have between 80 and 100 kids on any given week engaged in the program. It is a program that is a partnership with the Durham Parks and Recreation. So just so you would know that Durham Parks and Rec would also be working with us at the Mastway School. The way it works is the school district runs the enrichment programs in the morning, and then Durham Parks and Rec runs an afternoon traditional summer camp for families that are interested in having a whole day experience for their child. And then Durham Parks and Rec also runs a Friday field trip. All of these programs are open to all kids in the district from Lee, Durham, and Madbury. This year in particular, we are faced with some unique challenges, and we're hoping that we could use the field. Basically, what we would do on it, I'm envisioning that we would have 4 or 5 tents set up on Monday through Thursday mornings for the different activities to gather. And then at the end of the day, they would be taken down. And so the field would not be taken over other than basically Monday through Thursday mornings. That's basically what we need it for. So I basically would ask for you to give approval for us to do that, because if I can get that approval, we would start advertising the program within the week.
Questions from the board?
Todd, run that by in terms of what times would you be using the field?
Monday through Thursday mornings, probably like 8 to noon is the time we would need it for programming. I mean, in the afternoon, it's certainly possible kids might be over there playing, but it's not, we wouldn't have organized programs going on.
I see. My question is directed in terms of, as you know, we mow that field, so we just have to be concerned in terms of scheduling it so that we're mowing not when the kids are around. So that would be my only thing. So that's just a scheduling issue.
Sure. We would, the program would run the week of July 4th until the week of August 5th. So it'd be basically Monday through Thursday mornings would be the time that the field would be in use.
Okay.
So I would certainly be happy to work with your town works.
Yep. Okay.
Sort that out.
All right. That's my only concern in terms of scheduling it so that, we're not trying to mow the grass when you've got kids out there. That wouldn't be safe. So.
I would agree. Just as another note, Julie had recommended that we talk with Matt Glode from ORYA, because they are also a group that uses that field.
Yep.
And it doesn't conflict with anything that they had planned.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Larry Kidberg, are you there? You have any issues with this from the Recreation Commission?
No, I don't think so. It's the first I've heard of it, but sounds like a good program. I don't think there's any issue from the rec end.
Thank you very much. Gary, what's your thoughts?
I'm all for it.
Anybody else got a comment at this time for Mr. Allen?
I have a general comment if Mr. Allen's receptive.
I'm receptive, Scott. Go ahead.
I would like to give you a round of applause, Mr. Allen, for all the years that you've worked with the Oyster River School District. You've been an asset to the district, and I'm sorry to hear you're leaving. But I want you to feel that we appreciate your service. And for, 34 years? It's awesome. So thank you very much.
36, but who's counting, right?
Okay, sorry. I took 2 years off. But thank you very much.
I appreciate that, Scott. Thank you very much. It's been the honor of my professional life to serve in the roles I have in Oyster River, and it's because of the great people like yourself and the town of Lee and the other towns of our district that really make it special. So thank you.
It looks like, Todd, that you can move forward at this time.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Have a great evening, everybody.
Thank you. Next item, Steve Bellick, Public Works Director. I guess there's a couple of issues. Steve, you have the floor.
The first issue is just increase my credit card limit. We've run into some issues specifically in the transfer station, parts for the loader, and other things breaking in the highway department, all at the same time. I don't have enough credit limit to be able to buy the things that I need. Just the loader arm was over my credit limit that we had. So I guess I'd request that we increase it from $1,000 to $2,500.
1,000 to 2,500. Select board,
I'm okay with it.
Mr. Brown,
Yep, I'm okay with it.
you have my approval as well. Next item.
I believe the next item is more for Scott than it is
Yeah, one
for me.
of the things in the last meeting is, you remember, we signed or authorized the Public Works Director to enter into a lease purchase for a roll-off truck.
Yes.
One of the things I would like to see if the board would consider is in terms of, instead of doing a lease purchase, to use money out of the trust funds for that particular purchase. I think it would be a little bit tight just coming out of the transfer station, but I think one of the things that was mentioned, I think by Steve and his staff, or just his staff, they're going to be using it for some highway issues, highway things as well. So I'm wondering if the board would be receptive if we take part of it out of the transfer station and part of it out of the highway equipment capital reserve fund, and then pay it back. So in like the CIP is putting certain amounts in, we would increase that. So instead of paying the lease payment, we're just putting the money back into the trust funds, the two trust funds.
I don't have a particular issue with that, as long as I know the capital improvements plan is well regulated by Mr. Smith. I want to make sure that it follows.
Yep.
Did Mr. Smith be here at all? I just wondered. He's not here.
I don't see him. But in terms of what they presented last time, there's some extra money. And one of the things that's coming up quickly in the transfer station is the compactor. There's money in there for almost 60,000. According to Steve can speak for himself. He doesn't think that's going to be necessary at that particular time. So that's being pushed out a little bit. And in terms of the highway equipment, there's more than enough. I think if we took 35,000 out of the highway and the remaining out of the transfer station equipment, I think that would work.
What is the remaining?
Well, in terms of, hold on. I got to pull up that spreadsheet.
I mean, I'm okay with it. I just don't want to, rob Peter to pay Paul. I don't.
Well, yeah. Well, instead of doing the lease purchase where we're borrowing money at a little under 3%, because these trust funds aren't getting very much income as it is. And I think if we just borrow from them and then just pay it back over a period of 5 years, that would be the same term as the lease. Right now, according to the CIP, which I don't know if John isn't here, I don't believe.
Yeah, Mr.
But,
Tappan.
the next thing that's up is a roll-off container in 2023 for $91.63, and then rebuild the trash compactor for a little over 50,000. So those are the two things coming up. I think if we left some money in there, at least 10, 15,000 something, I think we should be fine.
Are you okay with this, Steve?
Yeah, and to be honest, you probably could leave a little bit more there and take a little bit more out of the highway department one if you really wanted to leave a little bit more. Not huge amounts, but you probably could try to leave maybe 20, 25 in the transfer station and make the difference up out of the highway department one. Because we'd use it we'll haul like wood chips and playground chips and stuff with this truck, and we can roll the container off at each parking lot, and you can drive the skid steer right in the dumpster and bring it around to where you need it instead of dumping it on the ground, and it makes things easier. So it'll definitely get used a little bit more. It'll get used in both departments. So I think it would work.
So the cost of the truck, Steve, is like about $189,000?
186.
186.
Yeah, and it might be less. Allison transmission, the transmission that's going in, it's putting out a grant this year that we applied for, but there's no guarantee we're gonna get it, so the price might be less,
And
but it
the
might not be.
transfer station capital reserve fund has something like 132,000 in it.
And we're putting 45 into it in the first part of July.
I'm going to let Mr. Tappan speak.
Oh, is he here?
He is.
Oh,
good.
excellent, excellent.
Okay, the transfer station capital equipment fund has $148,000 in it. And the highway equipment capital reserve fund has $314,000 in it. So that money is there. And I'm looking at the CIP for the transfer station. And the trash compactor, the version I have shows that it's in 2023.
That's the same version, but according to Steve, he doesn't think that's going to be when it's going to be needed. It's going to be needed further out.
Yeah, it's in really good, it's still in good shape right now. We don't have any issues with it, so.
Okay. So it looks like the money is there. The amount that's being set aside doesn't really, the way I calculate it, the amount that's being set aside doesn't quite cover the full 15 years of expenses. But the big expenses are far enough out that you have plenty of time to correct. If that's what you wanted to hear.
Well, just want to make sure we have enough money in the account and we're not forcing some other piece of important equipment not to be purchased. What I'm hearing from the, the manager is the fact is that there's a couple of things that could be pushed out that it's not so important right now. So I guess we can move forward at this point. We can go ahead with the purchase. Do you agree with that, Scott?
Yep. So maybe we can just work out in terms of what the percentage is. Maybe it's 140 out of the transfer station. That would leave, probably like 40,000 left. And then take the remaining out of highway. And then when we put it back in the same proportions.
I agree.
So in essence, we're funding our own purchase instead
Yes,
of
we are.
paying
Yeah.
somebody else interest money that, so it's at a cost avoidance.
Exactly. Well, money's money. You okay with
Yeah.
it? Carrie, you okay?
Yes, I'm fine with that.
Do we need a motion or?
You do need a motion because you're taking money out of capital reserve funds.
Well, it wouldn't be until when, Steve? November, December?
Yeah, it wouldn't be till November.
Okay.
It wouldn't be till we took, delivery of the truck.
So Julie, do we need to have that motion now or can we wait till then?
No, you can wait. And I'll put Mr. Tappan back on the spot. I know that he's only one trustee. Does he see any issues using the transfer station fund to purchase a truck for this, or using the highway department funds? I mean, I guess what I'm asking is, sorry, does he have any issues or see any issues with this? Go ahead.
The way we look at it is this truck being used for the purpose of the transfer station? And all the discussion I've heard so far is yes. The only thing that I've heard that's new is it being used for some highway department functions. And that I haven't heard about. But again, if it's highway department business, we don't question whether or not it's in the CIP. We look at, is it for the purpose of the fund? And in both cases, if Steve says he's using it for highway department business and he's using it for transfer station equipment business, that's all we look at.
Okay, it's just obviously, better to know now rather than buy the truck and then realize we can't really use the funds, so.
And I'm glad we'll wait a little bit because then that what was it, the other 45K, Scott, you said would be put in July, right?
Well,
Okay.
there's going to be money put in both funds.
Right, so that will boost those funds at that point.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, I guess at this point, you want to make your motion, Scott, since you're,
Well, we can hold off until we know exactly what the number is if you want. We can do it now, but we'll probably have to
Let's
change
hold
it later.
no, let's hold off.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
We'll make a note. You got anything else, Steve, at this point?
I just want to say thank you for approving the donate life flags where we have a town employee that had a kidney transplant not that long ago. That's appreciative. So thank you.
Thank you. Next order of business, fire chief, please. New truck.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Tomorrow's warrant article asks to remove the money from the CIP for a new fire truck. We're trying to replace engine one. The current engine one is a 2000 KME International. We put out for bids over a month ago. We received 2 bids. We did email and mail 11 different companies that sell fire trucks, and we heard back from Northeastern Fire Apparatus Specialists, which makes Marion pumpers, and then we heard back from New England Fire Equipment and Apparatus Corporation that makes Smeals. The bids came in for Northeastern Fire Apparatus Specialist, $652,125. They did give us a trade-in for the current engine one of $25,000. So a total cost for them is $627,125. And then New England Fire Equipment and Apparatus posted a bid for $629,999. Sorry. We went through the bids, and if you can see on my camera, this is one of the bids and how thick it is. We went through both of them to make sure that it met our requirements that we had for the fire department, what we were looking for. The biggest difference that we did see is that the rear body, we asked for a double wall construction, and the New England Fire Equipment is only doing a single wall. So I think that has to do with the price difference, some of it. There's other things that we're looking at, the pre-con meeting. Marion does it as an online meeting, like a Zoom meeting that anybody can go to. The New England Fire Equipment is only doing one member of our fire department that can do the pre-con, and then the final inspection is the same thing. New England Fire Equipment only allows one member to go down and check over the truck. Northeastern allows us to send 3 down. When we're in the factory going through these trucks, they're so big and time consuming going through our bids to make sure that everything is met for the truck that we're buying. So the more people that we can get down there, the better to look over everything. There was a couple other things where New England Fire Equipment is using different things than we asked for, different equipment, different manufacturers, different paint. We have currently 3 Marion trucks. We love the service that we get with the company from Northeastern Fire Apparatus. They're out of Connecticut. Any issues we have get taken care of pretty quickly. So the fire department would like to move forward with the Northeastern Fire Apparatus bid.
Thank you, Scott. Floor is open to the select board. Any questions for fire chief?
I just have a question, and this is more of a procedural thing for Julie, because in article number 4, we're asking them for $650,000. Now, I understand we're getting the trade-in. Is that going to cause us any problems, Julie?
No, the number that's in the warrant article is always the maximum.
Okay.
You
All
can
right.
always spend less money.
All right. No, that's the only question. And the only other thing I wanted to ask the chief is a fire engine that's less shiny cheaper, chief?
Yeah.
No? All right. All right.
Oh, brother.
I guess we'll have to buy this one then.
Mr. Brown, any thoughts? Okay.
Let's do it.
All right. Therefore, I move to approve the fire chief's recommendation to award the bid to northeastern fire apparatus specialist for a new engine for $627,125, provided that warrant articles 4 and 5 are approved by the voters on March 9, 2021. Do I have a second?
Second,
Any discussion on the motion?
no,
It's pretty quiet. Roll call vote, Mr. Bugby?
yes,
Mr. Brown?
Yes,
Mr. LaCourse, yes, motion carries. Congratulations, Fire Chief.
Thank you.
Chief
Any-
Nemeth, Chief Nemeth says you won't get this until from a year from now? That's when it'll be delivered?
Yeah, it's usually about a year. COVID changes that in the manufacturing process, but they're still shooting for about a year out.
Okay, all right.
Wow. Okay, next item of business, Mr. Bugby, Town Hall renovation update.
One of the things the board asked in terms of when are we going to be done?
Yes,
So we went through, we have a whole bunch of different subgroups, subcommittees. So we're thinking we should be done in about 2 weeks. So we're thinking sometime the end of March, beginning of April, we are requesting a working meeting with the Board of Selectmen. So not during a regular meeting, we would prefer. So this is the only topic on the discussion at that particular time. So hopefully the board would be amenable to that, and we come to find some date and time that's that everybody's available to attend. So
I think it's a good idea. I'm amenable to that, Mr. Brown.
yes, think it's a great idea.
so can we request the town administrator put this on the agenda for the meeting on March 22nd to discuss what time, date that we can get together?
Yep.
So maybe everybody looks at their calendars and see what they could do.
Sounds like a plan. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next item of business, Town Administrator. Looks like you got several issues to deal with.
Yep, so the first, sorry. I need to
Way
move
back
some
there.
things. Yeah, I need to move some things out of the way on my screen. The first is just to bring to the board's attention that the MOU with ORYA, the Memorandum of Understanding with Oyster River Youth Association, expires the end of March this year. However, you may recall that back in August, the last time this agreement was modified, we put what you could consider to be an evergreen clause in it, which means that unless either party wants to terminate the agreement or change the agreement, it just keeps going forward. And so it wouldn't necessarily be needed to issue a new one each time. So it's my understanding that the Recreation Commission met and spoke about this at their most recent meeting.
Okay, Larry, you still there?
Looks like he is. I believe Karen Rossi was also at the meeting if she wanted to speak on it.
Okay,
Yes,
Sure,
we met and
There
we
we go.
discussed it,
Sorry.
and we didn't have any issues. We recommend that it's for a minimum of 2 years though, just so we don't have to keep reliving this. You know, it seems like every time we turn around, this subject comes up again.
okay. Larry, got anything to add?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't unmute. No, I think we're pretty well set with it as long as there were no changes in the MOU from the previous one. We didn't see any.
No, there haven't been any recommended changes from anyone.
Yeah, so
I-
we didn't see any issue with that.
Okay, I will let you know that Geoff Carlton sent me an MOU, I think it was Sunday night, so I saw it this morning, indicating that he is also once again interested in putting an MOU or getting into a MOU with the town. Similar, I think, to what he submitted over the summer. So if that's something the board wants to consider, my recommendation would be to put that on a meeting possibly 2 weeks from now.
Mr. Brown, Mr. Bugby, opinion? Anybody there?
I think we ought to, I think if the agreements, if the agreement is still in place, we can just make it for 2 years, or it is for 2 years, let's do it. I mean, this is kind of an anguishing, ongoing issue that comes up every year, and I think we ought to we have an agreement. Let's use it.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't respond because I was reading the terms.
The terms.
It says the town and ORA may propose amendments to this MOU by March 1st of each year, and we can terminate it for cause.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't do anything by March 1st. So the only thing we can do to terminate this particular agreement is by cause. I don't think they've done anything. I don't think. Maybe we can ask Steve. So I don't see how we can terminate it without some kind of reason for terminating it. So.
Well, I mean, it expires March 31st.
Expires March
It
3rd.
expires March 31st.
But you said there's language in here.
Right,
That,
but if there isn't any action taken on it, it just continues.
Oh.
Do you know what I
Okay.
mean? Like, you wouldn't necessarily have to do anything. You wouldn't necessarily have to sign another MOU if you just wanted this one to continue.
oh, I see. I see. So that's under E.
I think so.
So in reality, it's an evergreen clause for continuing. Doesn't have to be limited by 2 years or any kind of year thing,
Yeah.
because it
Right.
just continues.
Yep.
So I can say a few things that happened this past summer at the end of the year.
Please, go ahead.
The baseball field, the infield was in rough shape. It got used heavily with baseball this year. I think there were 3 different teams using it, and then a different travel team using it on the weekends. So it was used 5-6 days a week. The infield had grass and stuff growing everywhere. We ended up paying to have somebody come in with a surface conditioner, grind the grass out, and then we had to pick it up after ORYA put it in a pile and we hauled it off. We paid for that, not them. They should have paid for that under the MOU. But it needed to get done, and they weren't responsive to doing it. And then furthermore, the baseball field, the infield needs to be brought up 5 or 6 inches in spots. With infield mix, I requested that they do it because it was a safety concern for the kids using the field. They told me they didn't have money to do it, but 3 or 4 weeks later, they had requested the same thing be done at the Madbury fields, but they had the money to do it at the Madbury fields and not our fields. So I've got some concerns with how they've reacted to requests from the town to maintain the fields the way that they should be maintained.
Steve, can you provide an accounting of what you spent on the baseball field? Because we can possibly
Yes.
just send that to ORYA.
Yep.
So I guess with what just Steve said, what I'd like to do, and Julie, I think you've already started this, in terms of, I would like us to submit whatever it is that we paid that they should have paid for to them.
Yeah.
If they have a problem paying for it, I would request that he comes to the meeting on March 22nd.
Yeah.
And explains why, based on this agreement, he should be paying for those things, his group. And if he's not going to do it, then I think we need to look at his contract that we have with him then.
Anybody else have a comment?
I think
Sure.
Larry wants to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I could briefly say, this has been an ongoing issue that I've brought to this select board numerous times. As far as they're not complying with the MOU. So Steve is correct in this, and I do think that we ought to send them a bill.
And I agree. So we're going to move in that direction. And I also agree with Scott that if payment or we don't hear anything, invite the gentleman to the next meeting.
Is the board interested in allowing Geoff Carlton to speak?
Yes, Jeff can speak. Where is he?
Go ahead,
Thank
John.
you. Thank you, John.
Mhm.
So I continue to put an MOU into this. Can anybody see me? Can you guys see me?
No,
No,
I can hear you.
I don't know why you can't see me. Just 1 second, please, because I think it's rude that you can't see me.
Wait, you're what's considered in Zoom an attendee, so we're not going to be able to see you.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Julie. I appreciate that. So I've been putting this MOU in and because I've worked when I was on the rec commission for 8 years building it. And every year we keep coming back and every year there's issues. Larry brings them up. Now we've got issues coming over from DPW. I mean, it's consistent every single time. I've put forth an MOU to the town to manage it. I've done other things down at the town, helping out, increasing Little River Park, not just sports, but other things that relate to it. So I've shown good faith. I'm also a citizen of the town of Lee, and our nonprofit is based out of Lee. And we serve the kids of Lee. We've expanded our programs. I want to know when somebody continually comes in time and time again, year after year, and hasn't lived up to their expectation, when does somebody like myself get an opportunity to prove their worth to the citizens of Lee and to the selectmen and select women? That's what I'd like to ask. So I would like to ask that you postpone this for 2 weeks, and I'm happy to meet with anybody individually at their choosing time to discuss my visions and what's going on and how we can make it better. I would really like the selectmen to do that and give it a few weeks. It's not going to change the MOU. It's got it till the end of the month. And I think that's the right thing to do. And I thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to speak.
Mhm. Floor is open for further comment on this issue. I can see where Joff is coming from at this point. Is there any interest from the Recreation Committee sitting with Mr. Colton?
Yeah, we've sat with him before, and we'd certainly be glad to take another look at this, his proposal. We can call a special meeting to do that. However, the select board wants us to proceed.
Actually, it's my vote that you do exactly what you just presented and ask anybody else who wants to come to your meeting to be allowed to. Especially if the, Steve, the manager, Public Works manager, wants to speak at the commission, that he be allowed to speak as well. I don't think there's a rush issue. We do have until March 31st. We do have another meeting time. So if you can get things done between now and the next meeting or before the end of the month, it would be appreciated.
I'll try to call a meeting next week.
Mm-hmm. You okay with that, Mr. Brown and Mr. Bugby?
As long as the Public Works Director is invited,
Absolutely.
not the manager. We don't have a
Excuse me.
manager.
Yeah, I forgot. Sorry. Public Works Director.
Steve got demoted there for a little bit.
Yeah, I know. We got to promote him back up quick. Here it is. Mr. Brown, you okay with that?
Yeah, I think that's the right thing to do. I mean, the man is absolutely right. He's tried to get his foot in the door a couple of times now. And for a whole bunch of reasons, we leaned towards RYA, and I think we need to give him a little bit more voice, and let's see what we got.
Okay, sounds good. Well, Mr. Carlton, you've been very convincing. Good luck.
Thank you very much, Mr. LaCourse,
All right.
and the rest of the board members.
Okay, Julie, continue.
Next item of business is to bring the board up to speed on the dog Easter egg hunt issue. Sorry, I'm just having trouble with my controls. I can't, I want to get to a document that I wrote relative to what my discussions with the attorney was. And I can't get the, does anyone know, Karen, how do you get the bar to move from the top to the bottom? Anybody?
I don't know.
Oh, that's how.
You can't click.
Yeah, no, you just click it and grab it. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry. My apologies. You'd think I'd know that after a year. So I had a couple of discussions with the town attorney and then had a follow-up discussion with Ms. Bisson relative to it. So our attorney has asked that we make sure we get a certificate of insurance, has to be specific to the New Hampshire Dog Walking Club. The town must be a named additional insured for this event, and the town attorney wants to approve the insurance. Our own guidelines, their guidelines, it takes a village, and the dog walking club's guidelines have to be strictly enforced. At first, the attorney indicated that she wanted them handed out. Ms. Bisson said that she preferred to be more sustainable than that. And when people sign up online, they're given the guidelines and asked, I think, to click a box that says that they've read them and they agree to follow them. The attorney is very concerned about having small children at this event. So she would prefer that the organization discourage small children from participating. She'd like to see somehow proof that the funds collected from the photo booth are going to the stated charities, and then that the fees collected for the event only cover expenses and don't provide profit. And then the final one is that this event's going to be allowed on a trial basis only. There's no guarantee for future use either by this vendor or any other for-profit organization. So I believe Ms. Bisson is on this, in this meeting, we'll call it, if she wants to provide any further input. But my discussion with her, she seemed to be amenable to these items.
Tracy, you have the floor.
Yes, I'm here, and thank you, Julie. Yes, we did have a chance to talk about what the attorney had for concerns, and we reviewed all of that, and I have no problems with the recommendations made by the attorney.
Julie, how do we guarantee all these things get done?
I might ask before we move forward, I believe Ann Tappan wants to speak as a member of the Conservation Commission.
Okay, Ann.
Yes, thank you. The Conservation Commission discussed this topic at our March 1st meeting, and we have a number of concerns. And to address that, we have some recommendations to make as if this event is going to go ahead. One is about the trails that are to be used for this event. We don't know which trails are going to be used, but we recommend that the river trail not be used. That's the trail that goes down to the floodplain. It's very wet right now, and we'd rather not have a lot of people and dogs mucking around in there. The mills, the trail in the mills portion of the property is the trail that goes through the open bowl. That's an area that's being managed for American woodcock. And we do understand that the dogs are on leash, but we specifically, if that trail is part of the event, that specifically there, the dogs stay on the trail. Also, in general, we would recommend that the eggs not be hidden very far off trail because a lot of birds are coming back by then. And also we would request that after the event, there is a sweep looking for eggs that were not found by the dogs. Eggs that are left in the woods, those plastic eggs are litter, and they could be a potential hazard for pets and children to find later after the event. So we'd like the board to consider including those recommendations if the event is going to go forward. Thank you.
Tracy?
Yes, I'm completely in agreement with all of those recommendations.
Anybody else want to speak to this issue?
Tracy, can you clarify which particular, because I'm looking at your request and it talks about Live River Trail. Which trail are you talking about?
Well, the only trail that I've been on is the one that goes left out of the parking lot. I think it wraps around the backside of the pavilion. I'm not sure what the name of that one is.
Ooh, the left-hand side?
Yeah, it's like right off the parking lot. I think there's a poop bag dispenser that marks the beginning of it.
It goes left and all the way around the fields, around the backside, and then down towards the river and back up again.
So I think that's the trail that the Conservation Commission would request that you not use.
Okay, that's fine. Yep. I just don't know where the correct one is that you'd want us to use, but I'm more than willing to use
Well,
whatever is best practice for the field.
This
There's-
is,
Go ahead, Ann. Sorry.
if there is, if it's helpful, someone from the commission could meet you or another representative prior to the event, and we could easily point out the trails. It wouldn't take very long to do this, but we don't have, there aren't good maps, so the best way would be to be on site ahead of time and do a quick walkthrough, if that works.
I think that'd be great, Ann. I'd appreciate that.
We can get in touch with each other probably through Julie.
Okay, fantastic.
Any other conditions or any other comments at this time?
No, I'll just have to confirm with the attorney. She may want me to put these all in a letter to Ms. Bisson that she then signs acknowledging that she received it and agrees to follow everything.
I agree. I was gonna move it as a motion to approve for this Easter egg hunt that tied to all the recommendations that were put forward tonight by the town attorney and the recommendation put forth by the Conservation Commission, specifically speaking for the commission, Ms. Tappan. So if we can kind of make that, like you call it, listing,
Yep.
I think that'll be fine.
So was that a motion?
That was a motion.
Okay.
Second.
Second, we have a second. Okay, I was just waiting for it at this point. I think I covered a town attorney as well as everything that's brought forward by Conservation Commission.
Okay, can you read that again?
Are you kidding me?
No, I need to understand what you're.
I know everything the town attorney has put together that Julie is screening for us right now.
Okay.
And well, everything that was put forward by the Conservation Commission by Ann. And that was agreed to by Tracy.
So you're going to allow the New England Dog Walking Club to host an Easter dog hunt for members along the trails in Live River Park on April 3rd, 2021. And this is just a trial, right?
This is just a trial. Just as
All right.
that the lawyer had, our town attorney had said, it's only a trial. It's a one-year thing to see how it goes.
All right, fine. Thank you.
All right, this motion's been moved and seconded. We just had a basic discussion. Roll call vote. Mr. Brown,
Yes.
Mr. Bugby,
Yes.
Ms. LaCourse, yes. Motion carries. Congratulations, Tracy.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
So
Okay.
Julie, I'm sorry. So Julie, you can put Tracy and Ann in communication so they can work out which trails and things.
Yes. Yep.
Thank you.
Next item of business, we had the 2021 reval startup meeting last week. It was conducted via Zoom. I was on the call along with Scott Marsh from MRI, Sam Green from DRA, and Jeff Earls from CCAG. I know that after the meeting, Mr. Green, DRA, had some follow-up with Mr. Earls, so I think they're satisfied that we can start. I don't have a timeline yet. I've asked for that, but he did indicate during that meeting that they expected to be finished with the reval in July, which would be earlier than the August date in their proposal. So the next thing that we need to do after getting the timeline is put together some information to get out there to the public so that they know this is happening. So those would be the next steps.
Okay, anything else, Town Administrator?
Not on the reval.
Okay, anything else?
The Comcast franchise renewal agreement, time flies.
Yes,
We
it
had a
does.
5-year agreement and it expires this May. I spoke with Jay Summers, who is the government contact at Comcast. He suggested that it could either be given a 1-year extension or a whole 5-year new contract. I also spoke with Kate Miller, who's the attorney at DTC that handles these things. Her initial take on it is that she's going to probably suggest that we enter into a much longer agreement with Comcast because the cable landscape has changed that significantly in the last 5 years. So she's probably going to suggest that we do a 10-year agreement because they think that Comcast in the not too distant future may be trying to get out of the cable TV game altogether because now all the money is in internet and streaming. She's going to talk to Jay Summers this week and then I'll hear from her and then I'll just update the board.
Sounds like a plan. Questions? I don't hear any, so I guess we'll move in that direction.
That's all I have.
Okay. I don't see anything that's really problematic in consent agenda. Therefore, I move to accept the consent agenda as presented. Do I have a second?
Second.
I assume there's no discussion. Roll
No.
call vote. Mr. Bugby?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes,
Mr. LaCourse, yes, motion carries. Miscellaneous unfinished business. I have one thing discuss is, I hope Steve is still here. Tomorrow, of course, is voting day, and I'll be coming in about 4 o'clock-ish is my time to come in. Where am I supposed to park?
John, I was there today. The parking right now, the parking will be, as you come in, it'll be on the right side. They've got a lot of parking area cleared off over where the compost used to be, so there won't be any issues at
Okay.
all about finding a parking spot.
Okay, well, that takes care of my unfinished business. Does somebody else have unfinished business?
I have a request from the church environmental group. Their 8th grade class is, I don't know, I guess graduating or whatever, but they want to do a community service project. And one of the things that are interested in doing is there's a whole bunch of bat houses in the town forest in back of the church. Their project would be to create new bat houses and replace the old rotted out ones. So they didn't know if they needed our permission or not. And since it is town property, they probably should seek our permission. But I want to know if the board is amenable to allowing them to replace the old bat houses with new bat houses.
I have no problem whatsoever. I think the bats are good. They help to clean the air from mosquitoes and other nasty
Exactly.
insects.
No,
So,
I've got bat houses around my house. They're fine. They clean out a lot of mosquitoes when the season comes.
absolutely. So, yes, you have my permission.
So can I just make a motion to allow the church environmental group to replace the old bat houses in the town forest behind the church? And it should be done by the first part of May, they said. So
Do I have a second?
Second,
We just already had the discussion. All in favor, Mr. Brown, vote.
aye.
Mr. Bugby,
yes,
Mr. LaCourse, yes, motion carries. Good idea. Maybe they want to
Thank you.
continue and move it into the town forest and other areas as
Yeah.
well.
I have one other small thing. It's an administrative procedural thing. One of the things that I noticed that Julia's put it on the agenda in terms of the number to call if you have a problem. Could you update your text, John, to include the extension 312? So that's on as well.
Yeah.
It's on the agenda, but that you didn't mention
Yeah,
it.
that reading thing,
Yeah.
312.
Thank you.
Yeah, we want to go directly to Julia, right?
Yeah, well, then they don't have to wade through all the voicemail stuff on the
Exactly.
voice prompts. So,
I agree. Thank you on that.
welcome.
Okay, I guess we'll move on to item 10. I move to enter into non-public session, New Hampshire RSA 91-A:3, 2 and L. Do I have a second?
Second,
All right. I assume there's no formal discussion. Roll call vote. Mr. Brown?
yes.
Mr. Bugby?
Yes.
Ms. LaCourse, yes. We'll move into a non-public.
Not yet.
Denise,
Oh, there she is.
there she is.
Now you can do your announcement, John.
Well, I'm
Okay.
sorry, can you, because I had to start the recording, can you do the motion about the minutes again? Sorry.
I move to seal the non-public meetings.
Second.
No discussion. Mr. Brown, your vote.
Yes,
Mr. Bugby?
Yes.
Ms. LaCourse, yes, motion carries. And next thing is Denise, I will be submitting the non-public minutes for this meeting. The one we're just having now, just so you know.
So don't be bugging me.
is she bugging you, Bugby?
Oh, yes. All the way back to December. My goodness.
And then, of course, after Tuesday night, let's assume that I'll still be here, but doesn't mean I'll be doing the minutes because Mr. Brown will be doing the minutes
Okay.
because he'll be chairman, right?
Yep, I agree.
Okay, so I'm just laying that on the floor.
I don't think Mr. Brown agrees, though.
Well, it's 2-1. You don't have any vote right
Oh,
now.
that's true. That's true. That's true.
We'll just see how it all goes.
Mm-hmm.
Carrie, you'll get your wife to do them, right?
No.
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 And Julie, I will stop by, talk to you sometime tomorrow morning.
I will be here,
You're gonna be where, Daily Building or over there?
the Daily Building.
Okay. And I'll tell you what transcribed. I have permission by the board.
Julie, did you get my email? Will there be somebody there around 11 o'clock tomorrow?
Yeah, we'll be here.
Okay. Well, I want to do the manifest.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So, Ms. Brown, you're all ready for tomorrow to get over there?
Yes,
Are there gonna be coffee in that little shack?
I have no idea that,
I don't think so.
that's the point that bothers me
Yep.
terribly, because it's gonna be cold in the morning, gonna be standing in the windway of that building.
Mhm.
So I think it's gonna be a chilly morning.
I don't think there's coffee because Eric was going to bring the coffee maker and Dawn said no because Karen said no.
How are they gonna feed the workers?
Wait a minute.
They're going to be separate bag lunches.
Oh, okay.
Separate bag lunches, huh?
Yep.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
bring your willies. Supposed to be like 50, so.
Well,
but
yeah,
it does get windy.
that's after 12 o'clock. I'm
Yeah,
worried
it does
about
get
7
windy.
in the morning.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
bring your insulated underwear and lots of socks and lots of layers.
I will.
And I guess we're gonna take this all back to the public safety complex and count it there?
Yes.
After 7.
It should be interesting. Okay, anything else for the board at this time?
No?
No? Denise, anything?
Nope.
No? Okay, I move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. See you